For so long, I was trapped in the hustle mindset where I believed that in order for my business to be successful or myself to be successful, I always had to be pushing myself to the maximum. I had to be exhausted. I always had to be working harder and harder and harder. And this is when I realized that I was literally running in survival mode, and this was limiting the possibility of running my business with balance, feeling amazing while working smarter and not harder, because it did not have to be that way. Welcome back to the Power of Personal Branding and Manifestation podcast. I am so excited to see all the new girlies subscribing and tuning into the show. I see all of you tuning in, and I am so glad you are here. I'm your host, Malika, your girl to personal branding and manifestation. Now, for this episode, I feel like this is a topic that for the longest time I truly believed that I really had to be working hard and harder and harder in order to get success or to have that lifestyle that I wanted or to have that business that I wanted, right? Like, because it is so ingrained in society that you need to work harder to have more success, right? But the thing is that does not give you the freedom that you actually crave. And this is what I came to realize, and this is exactly why this is going to be so important to talk about. And so for all of you listening, get ready. This is going to be so good because I want you to go from hustle to abundance and to start exchanging value for money and not necessarily more time. I have to start this out with the coming out of the trenches story. This was a concept that was introduced to me into another podcast, and it is so vital to know about and be aware of so that you can change the story that motivates you. Because this is basically what it is, okay? The coming out of the trenches story is basically like you are in a situation that you don't like, that you want to change, right? And these are like the trenches, right? And you want to come out of the trenches to go to the top, to whatever it is that your goal is, that your success is. And if you always operate from the coming out of the trenches story, you will always operate from a kind of like a lack mindset of like, I need more, like this is not good, like, oh my God, I need to reach for this top of the mountain. It's kind of like if you're always operating as if you are always in the trenches. So that is the concept of like operating from the coming out of the trenches story, is that this is your story and it will always be part of your story. But if you always operate solely from that, your system is always going in survival mode, and you will never get to experience that like abundance feelings that feel so amazing and like you are so aligned when you are running your business. Because you think that like at a certain point, like you're like, oh, it's going to be good. But trust me, so many people that I know have always operated from the coming out of the trenches story. And now they are just learning to come out of that because of the fact that like they always feel stressed. They always feel like they have to hustle more. They always feel like they have to be exhausted. And like even though you reach that amount of success, you are still operating from the coming out of the trenches story. And this is why it is so important to be aware of that, so that this is not your sole baseline into how you operate for your business, because otherwise you will never get to feel that abundance, that flow that we want when we run our business, right? That's why we started. And this brings me to my next point, which is that we can't think anymore that working hard makes you more money. Okay? Because this is literally the concept that was like brainwashed into society so that you are more compliant to serving someone else. right? That you are more compliant to serving a system that does not necessarily serve you at the end of the day, okay? This is when you're in the mindset of like working harder, right? It's like you are exchanging time for money, okay? But what we want instead is to do the shift to exchange value for money, because value does not have a set timeline on it, right? When you know that you are exchanging value, it just comes down to how valuable is what you offer. How valuable is your offer? How valuable is what you bring to the table? That's what it comes down to. And the time is no longer an equation to this. And so you are no longer a slave to time, right? Because this is how you can have a business that truly, truly serves you, is to look at, okay, how can I make it so that I'm exchanging value for money and not time? Because that you are a service provider, that you have a product and offer, whatever your business is, okay? Like this allows you to set the tone for yourself and give yourself that freedom that you want, because you are now able to rise your rate according to the value as it rises along with you, right? And so let's say that you are investing in yourself, you are investing in your equipment, you are getting better and whatever, right? Like you're not necessarily increasing the time that you put in or the time that you give. You are increasing your own value. And this is really, really why it's so important to start doing the shift and to working harder doesn't equal more money, okay? Working smarter and exchanging value for money is what is going to make you more money and also allow you that time freedom and feel abundant in your business. And something that I really, really love about this is that this also opens up your mind to think of multiple ways in which you can finally monetize your offer in so many different ways that optimizes your time, right? Because there's no more limits anymore. There's no more limits of like, oh my God, like now I have only this amount of time, or I only have this amount of time. Like there's no more time limit. Now let's talk about doing the shift from the hustle mindset to the abundance mindset, okay? When you are always hustling and hustling and hustling, most of the time what ends up happening is that you push yourself beyond the limit, and what ends up happening is that you are simply like doing this out of your own like ego and kind of like wanting to prove something rather than it being for the actual impact that you want to bring, or rather than it being for what you want to accomplish. It's more about proving yourself, and this is not like you being in alignment, right? Like when you are in alignment, you are able to tune into how you feel and give yourself the break or the needs that you require beyond just always hustling. Let's talk about jumping from the hustle mindset to the abundance mindset, in which you will finally get to run your business according to your terms. You'll run your business feeling amazing in yourself in the time that you put in, right? Like you will feel good and not stressed anymore, right? And so the first thing that you absolutely need to do is to stop operating from wanting to prove something. Okay, because every time that you are trying to prove something, it comes from your ego. It comes from like almost like I would say a wounded self, that like you want to prove something. You want to prove something. And I get it. Like everyone wants to prove like they can do it. And I get that. But that cannot be the reason why you are hustling, right? Like when you are working on whatever it is that you are passionate about, it needs to be because you love it. You love the process. You love what you are doing. You love the impact that you're creating. You are excited for the people that you are going to impact. You are excited for your mission, right? That is the vibration that you need to tune into when you are working, right? And so start asking yourself, like, what is the vibration that I'm tuning in my day to day? Am I always tuning in from my ego, from like being stressed, from being like, oh my God, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this? Or like, are you excited? Are you in love with the process? Are you tuning into what makes you excited about your business, right? Because this will also impacts how you operate when you do work, because you are so much more in alignment and you're not doing it from like a lack mindset. And so you're more productive. You're able to take care of yourself so much more and so much better. And you get results so much faster because you are tuning into the vibration that match that thing that you want to have with your business, that matches this result, that matches this client, right? Because you are tuning into that energy that is actually abundant, that is actually making you feel good. And which brings me to my next thing, which is to do actions that feel aligned with you. Think in your head of the perfect day of what running your business looks like, right? Or the perfect day of your day off when you are not running your business. Can you take days off whenever? Can you what do you do in the perfect day that you are running your business? Do you have like, okay, you have time to chat up with your friends, you are creating content, you are with clients, like what does it look like? And then look at the actions that you are taking, right? Does it align towards that vision that you are building for yourself? That is how you know, am I taking an aligned action step, right? Because let's say right now you can take the afternoon off and you can be like, okay, this is my time, this is my me time, I'm going to go to a cafe, I'm going to go to a restaurant, right? Like, is there things that you can incorporate right now so that you are currently building that structure for yourself that you want in that vision, right? So just little things like that you can start thinking about, right? That is so good and that is going to tremendously help you feel so good in building your business, right? Because this should be so amazing. This should be like, oh my God, you are in love with the process. You are in love with how you are feeling. You're not like constantly exhausted, because that is not what we are all about here, okay? The structure that you create now will be the structure that will follow you throughout your journey. Okay, so meaning like it's not just like, oh, once I'm at this milestone, then everything's gonna be rainbow and butterflies and everything. Like, this is why we need the foundation to be in an abundance mindset in which you feel good, in which you are creating time freedom, in which you are creating for yourself the structure that you need so that you are able to scale your business easily without the struggle, without you always doing outreach or whatever, right? And this is why I always preach personal branding, because personal branding allows you to market yourself and brand yourself in a way that attracts other people to you. And so this, again, like, saves you time. You don't have to like build a business in which you are always constantly looking for stuff or looking for people to buy, or, you know, it becomes so much easier. And this is why being in that vibration, tuning into how you want to feel on the day-to-day and operating from that, being in love with the process, is so freaking important. Next up on my list, I have stop thinking you are limited in time, money, or things. Okay, because again, we do not want to be operating from that like lack mindset, right? Like, when you stop thinking that you are limited by exterior factor, that is when you truly find your power and you're able to manifest the most amazing fucking things. And something else that you can look into is placing systems to make your life easier and making running your business so much smoother, right? So if I look back at what I used to do, right, I didn't have a system that could like take appointment automatically. It all had to be manually done, and I was always like requesting all the information, right? Like, it was not automatic, but like that is something that like I don't need to spend time on. So like looking back, that's definitely something that I could have placed a system on, right? And so looking at these things, having automation for your email, right? For your booking, for your replies, for your sales, for maybe like someone wants to purchase and you have an automatic reply for them to go down your funnel, right? Like these are all things that can like ease running your business so that it can feel smoother, so that you don't have to always hustle, so that you don't always have to be working, right? Because that is not why we build our business, right? We build our business because we want freedom, we want balance, and it starts with the structure and the way that you tune into yourself, the vibration that you're on, the mindset that you're on. And this simply just allow you to let go a little bit more and focus a bit more on your vibration, how you are feeling, and making sure that you are embodying all those amazing feelings right now. Now, this was a bit of a quicker episode, but I know that this is truly something that you need to start implementing. If you found this helpful, share it to someone, share it to a friend, and as always, I will meet you back here next week. And if you're not already tuned into our free Facebook community group, definitely do so. The link for that is going to be down below. Thanks so much for tuning in, and don't forget to leave your 5-star rate and review on the podcast. I love to know what you guys think of the episodes, and I will meet you here next week.